Ladies and gentlemen, Haunted America is back for another episode of some of the most chilling stories you've ever heard.
Maybe it's the ghost of the last kid who lived here.
My immediate thought is this jail has to be on an old Native American land.
Right.
And then one of the doctors thought it would be good for patient morale not to let patients see all the people that were dying.
Everyone got real quiet. Even the guy singing karaoke stops, lays down the mic. My cousin goes as white as a new cotton t-shirt.
Haunted America is the most professional horror podcast there is.
Yep, we're drawing blanks.
Yep.
Yeah, what a podcast.
Yeah, thank you. We're professional ghost hunters, people.
So join along for the laughs.
When I finished my job at the bathroom, God, what is...
I love Reddit stories.
But stay for the horror and bone-chilling words they speak.
As I turned the corner and approached the house, I sensed something strange in the air.
Haunted locations, ghost stories. This is Haunted America.
Alrighty, guys. Welcome back to the first official episode of Season 3 of Haunted America. We are starting off Season 3 in kind of a different way than we ended Season 2. If you listen to the Season 3 preview episode that we dropped, it's only about 2 minutes long, we said that we want to listen to you guys more, get more stories from you guys, get more insight from you guys. And we're kind of giving somebody a chance here to do that. And we're starting Season 3 off with an interview episode. Who will be interviewing me, you may ask? Why doesn't our guest introduce himself?
Just call me JD.
JD, welcome onto the show. And JD is going to be giving me some questions, and I'm going to answer them to the best of my abilities. He would not tell me what the questions he has for me are, but without further ado, let's get right into this.
Well, first of all, I just want to thank you for giving me this opportunity, because I listen to you daily as I'm going to work, and so this is some stuff that I've always wanted to know as a fan, and just as a person that is wanting to be more educated about the paranormal. So first of all, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's go. This was probably my favorite question, because this duo, they really kind of got me back into modern horror movies, but yet they're supposedly, allegedly true stories.
Okay.
So my question is, what are your personal thoughts and opinions about the careers of Ed and Lorraine Warren?
I didn't know we were jumping right into that kind of stuff.
Surprise.
Oh, I don't know if I want to comment on much of that stuff. Obviously, you know, the stuff that came out does not look good for them, you know. I think I'm gonna skip. I don't want to cause controversy or get into, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. I was just like, I guess, let me start with the next question that actually is kind of attached to that question, okay?
Okay.
And my question was more about, like, I've always been intrigued by their museum that they used to have.
Okay.
And all of the relics that they have obtained over the years that, you know, according to, you know, some stories,
They came from
they
the
had
houses. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And they had to actually bless the room periodically to keep everything, I guess, in, you know, contained. So let me just move into like the meat of what I really wanted to know,
Okay.
and that is like the relics, like such as the Annabelle doll,
Okay.
things like that. Do you feel like there is like, relics out there amongst us that have something tied to it, like it is
Oh.
actually a
Oh,
vessel?
absolutely. Absolutely. There are houses out there that have stuff just straight up attached to them. Um, Zach Baggins, he is the main leader of the Ghost Adventures crew. He just recently, and by recently I mean I think it's been open for like 2 or 3 years now, opened up a museum of sorts in Las Vegas with a bunch of these haunted artifacts that he has kind of gathered over the years. So, I mean, I 100% believe that a lot of those items are actually haunted, or at least, straight up came from haunted locations. So there definitely could be stuff attached to them. Um, Long story short, yes, totally believe that there are objects out there that have spirits attached to them.
How dangerous do you think those objects are? I mean, like someone unexpectedly, like in the horror movies, comes up to a yard sale and buys something, not knowing what they're actually getting themselves into. How dangerous is that?
Um, it all depends, I guess, because like if your scenario there going up to a yard sale, you don't know exactly what kind of spirit is attached to it. It could be like if you go on eBay right now, you can buy supposedly, and it could be a hoax, you don't know, dolls that are haunted by spirits of little children or of a grandmother, something like that, right? But if you go up to a yard sale and you buy something that's haunted, you don't know what kind of spirit is attached to it, if a spirit's attached to it at all, right? You take it home, and maybe let's say you start hearing some knocks around your house. Knocks are nothing, right? But as soon as stuff starts getting violent, you call a priest, you get somebody to bless the item or bless your house, something, right? It's gonna be. Oh, geez, man. That's a good question. It can be dangerous.
Since you brought up,
but at the same time, it could be dangerous. But at the same time, it could be nothing. It could be a nice spirit that, does the calmest type of haunting. You know what I mean?
it probably would help things if you didn't, pull out the Ouija board and provoke something, right?
Yeah. If I believe I've mentioned this I've mentioned this in other episodes. I stay as far away as possible from anything to do with Ouija boards. They
Same.
are
Yes.
They are an absolute no-no for me and everybody that I personally know or have investigated with.
Well, don't worry, I am one of those people as well.
Yeah, you never know what you're letting in when you mess with a Ouija board.
And in previous episodes, I remember you all speaking about, there's so many rules and complexities to it that a lot of people just do not know and don't understand, so they don't know how or what they're actually doing.
Right. And with Ouija boards too, I mean, if somebody gets freaked out by something that happens, let's say, right? Say you're messing with a Ouija board and you get an answer and you just have a moment of freaking out, right? And you're like, okay, that's it, I'm done. You get too scared. You don't say goodbye. You leave that portal that you opened open, and that gives the spirit or whatever you let in free roam. You didn't say goodbye to close that up.
And I'm sure that's happened way too many times.
I guarantee it has. I guarantee that it has.
Well, since you brought up dolls, I have another question. So let's just say you have an opportunity to visit a famous doll by the name of Annabelle or Robert from the Florida Keys.
Okay.
Which one would you choose and why?
Annabelle? because of all of the stories, I feel like Annabelle's just more famous, right?
Right.
I would go Annabelle just because of all the stories and stuff that I've heard. And I feel like I wouldn't get attacked by the glass case that Annabelle is locked up in. You know, I feel like I could go there and maybe shoot a few shots at her, you know, mock her a little bit, and then leave and hopefully don't get followed home by something that did not like
Well, you know, based on some of the stories out there, you know, I believe there was, and maybe I'm wrong. I'm sure I'll be put on blast if I am. If I reckon, if I'm correct, there was a cyclist that mocked Annabelle and on a trip, I think, to the museum, and he actually had an accident afterwards. So I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe not taking shots if you decide to go.
Yeah,
speak with Miss
for
Annabelle.
anybody listening that thought that I was being truthful there about shooting shots at Annabelle, I'm lying. Do not mock spirits that are known to be that strong and prevalent. It is the wrong thing to do. You see a lot of things out there on TV. Zach Baggins, bringing up him again on Ghost Adventures. He likes to mock spirits a lot. Do not be like Zach. You never know exactly what spirit you're messing with and what they are capable of. So stay away from doing that.
Yeah, and just to remind everyone about Zach, you know, he's been scratched a few times, so that's not good.
Yes, he has. And when you investigate as many big name paranormal areas as the Ghost Adventures crew has, you expect that kind of stuff, because you're going into some of the most highly active paranormal places in all of the world, and you're going into their spot and you're messing with them, trying to get them to talk to you. You know, you kind of expect it when you're in that line, when you're in that field.
And especially when you're broadcast on, you know, national television, you have to try to get something, you know, to happen, and he's definitely not shy about it.
We'll go another route there. Maybe throw a little bit of shot at Ghost Adventures here. Not everything you see on TV is real, people. You know, it's television.
Yes.
They have to play it up a little bit. So, you know, some of the stuff I guarantee is real that they catch, but just know that when you're watching,
Not-
you know, big name paranormal
Probably not keeping
stuff
it
on TV
100.
Yeah, exactly. We'll go with that.
Okay, speaking of Zach, actually, that actually flows into another question I had. I brought this location up in a recent call with you, and it's famous for being investigated, I think 3, maybe even 4 times on Ghost Adventures, and that's Bobby Mackey's Music World.
Yep.
And just to share like a little story, you know, I was on the way to Cincinnati, and I was driving through, I believe it was either Newport or Covington, I can't remember. But anyway, I was crossing a bridge, and I noticed I was crossing the Licking River, and that instantly reminded me of, you know, Bobby Mackey's Music World, because the quotation marks portal to hell, you know,
Yep.
the well at the bottom would drain into the Licking River.
Right.
And I just instantly got chills. And so it was sadly recently demolished. And I was just wondering, do you believe that this releases those entities from the location, or do they stay?
Ooh.
What's your thoughts on that?
That is a very good question, and something for our listeners to think about as well. Buddy, you're putting me on the spot with some of these questions.
I'll tell you, I'm a fan. I've wanted to ask this for a while.
I believe it could be a few things. It could be spirits attached inside of Bobby Mackey's, right? So a place like Bobby Mackey's, it gets torn down. The spirits could be attached to the physical building itself, where like their energies are just imprinted inside the building on the walls, you know, and when that gets torn down and taken out, they kind of move with that. But at the same time, you brought up the portal to hell, right? The big well in the bottom. If the spirits are attached, that makes me think the spirits could be attached to the grounds that Bobby Mackey was on itself, right? Like the spirits are just part of that ground, just like Gettysburg. You know, you can go to Gettysburg and you might catch a glimpse of a soldier out in the field. Those spirits are imprinted on those grounds. So it's one of those two things. I wouldn't be able to give a full answer on what I think now because to my knowledge so far, nobody has gone to the site of Bobby Mackey's and put out like a K2 meter or a REM pod or something to see if there's still some sort of activity happening on the grounds, even though the building itself is gone.
I'll tell you one person that's not, and that's me.
Hey, buddy, if I were you, I'd give it a shot, man.
I don't know. That like I said, whenever I realized I was driving over that river, I got chills because that was one of the episodes that really got to me, and I don't know why. Like, I'm also close to Waverly Hills, and
Yep.
that was not, to me, anywhere near as scary of an episode as the Wilder, Kentucky one. So,
Well,
but
I'll say this here. Me and Jesse, my co-host, he just recently moved to Arizona, and on our way to me driving him out there, we stopped at the Ohio State Reformatory to do a tour. Our first time ever actually being there, right? And we got chills driving past it, and we got chills driving up to it. Just knowing the things that we've seen go on in there from other people's videos. And then once you're inside there, man, the tour they do is so good. Shout out to Ohio State Reformatory in Mansfield, Ohio. Our tour guide was so knowledgeable and took us to all these amazing spots along the tour route. She even took us to a few that you're not supposed to go on the normal tours. I don't know if that's true or not. She made it sound like it was true. It was cool. I mean, seeing all the history in some of these places. I mean, dude, there was writing on the walls from inmates from back in like the 50s, the 70s. I mean, you know, being around that kind of energy, just you can't help but get chills when you're around it, knowing that somebody was living their life inside those walls.
would you say that would be like a dream location for you to investigate one day?
Actually investigate, yes. It creeped me out to wit's end, buddy. It was amazing to walk in there and just be around the history, see the old guard tower. You know, and also that's the site of the filming of Shawshank Redemption, so that was kind of cool too. Anytime you see Shawshank Redemption, it was filmed at the site of the Ohio State Reformatory in Mansfield, Ohio.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so let's say that they call you up and say, hey, would you like to investigate? And you're like, yes, obviously, right?
Right.
So what is some things that you would bring, like equipment-wise, that you think would, you know, make for an accurate and well-documented investigation?
Honestly, I don't think you would need all the fancy equipment that you see some of these people use. That place is so full of energy and spirits. You could probably go in there with a basic EVP recorder, a K2 meter, a REM pod, you know, and get a ton of evidence. Obviously, bring some sort of recorder with you, like a camcorder for video evidence. If it was me, I would bring all the previously mentioned stuff. I would bring my SLS camera to set up shooting down like one of the cell blocks to see if you can catch like an inmate going in and out of a cell, something like that. Let's see here. Obviously a spirit box. Do you know what a spirit box is? Right, it goes.
Yes,
right?
I've seen those.
Yeah, I would use
on TV shows anyway.
Yeah, the SB spirit box. You know, I don't think I'd bring that much actually with me because I don't think you would need all the crazy high-tech equipment you see on some of these shows that you watch on TV.
Okay, a K2 meter, is that the electromagnetic meter?
K2 meter, yes, and it has the little dots on it. So. And if something comes near you and kind of, because spirits are said to have an electromagnetic field around them, right? So it's
Yeah.
it's part of what gives you goosebumps when you're in the presence of certain spirits.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I would definitely bring that too. Set that up in the corner or something like that inside of a cell and try to get a spirit to communicate with you via that.
Okay. Now here's a totally different question. If you passed away today and woke up, quotation marks, floating amongst the living, what's the first thing you would do?
I would be knocking on walls like crazy.
You would be a bad ghost, wouldn't you?
I would be the most annoying spirit possible to everybody that I know. I would go to my dad's house, start knocking his wallet off his dresser, try to open up some drawers or something, slam some shelves. I would be as humanly or spiritually annoying as possible. Especially the family members of mine that don't believe in this stuff. I would make sure to let them know that I am around them and that this stuff is real.
Pull the milk out,
Oh yeah.
drop it on the floor.
Wait till they go to bed, open up the freezer,
Yeah.
make sure it's open, that when they wake up in the morning all their groceries are spoiled.
Yeah, you would be very devious. Let's not say malicious, but devious.
Devious,
I like
yes. I would do stuff that would inconvenience the living.
it. Just like, hey, I'm still around. Don't you forget about me.
Drain the remote batteries.
Oh, gosh, I hate that. Oh, I hate that. Yeah, we've been so spoiled because we don't have to get up and change the channel anymore. So
Oh, yeah.
spoiled. Yeah, that's definitely an inconvenience these days. Speaking of family, this is kind of a very personal question, and this was one of the first questions I actually thought of. And that is, do you speak to or see ghosts of your friends and family often?
So since I've learned to, and if Jesse was here right now in this episode, he would attest to this. I have learned over the years of like honing in this gift, right? To kind of close the door at times. And you'll hear a lot of, bigger psychics. They either say it's a 24-hour 24/7 thing for them where they just can't turn it off, or they have the ability to kind of close that door a little bit as well. Me, I've learned to close it at times. So if there are times where I don't want to, be around all that kind of stuff, I can close it. Other times that I've had it opened, I would see my grandparents all the time. They would come to me and tell me things, or just be like, hey, tell your brother I'm proud of him, or tell him, deliver simple messages for my family type of thing. And another way of seeing spirit as well that I believe everybody can do is there are times where like you might be laying down for bed, right? And sleeping and dreaming. And a passed on loved one comes to you in a dream. There is a possibility that is your passed on loved one's spirit coming to visit you and maybe deliver a message or let you know they are all right. And I believe in a recent episode as well from season 2, there was, I believe it was a listener's story sent in on America's Encounters. I might be wrong about that. I'm sorry if I am. Where we discussed, the possibility of it being a loved one coming to you via a dream, because that's how some people can do it as well. But
Yeah,
so back to the original question. Yes.
Yeah, you're good.
Yes, I have seen and spoken to passed on loved ones.
Like when you see them, when you speak to them, is it just like you're speaking to me, or is it kind of faint? Is it kind of describe that?
So there are many different ways that I have seen and communicated with the spirits before. A lot of the times with my family members, my grandparents that have passed on, it is seeing them like I would see me and you, talking to them like I would talk to me and you. There are also times with other spirits that I've seen where it's just like kind of like a vision type thing pops in my head of what the person looks like, or it's literally just a voice popping in your head with like faint pictures or flashes of items, that kind of stuff. I've also seen just mists where there's no profound figure. It's just like a mist, and I feel the presence of a female or a male, and then I might a word of a name or something like that might pop in my head, that kind of stuff. So
Okay.
I believe it all varies on the amount of energy that the spirit that is trying to communicate has. It all varies on the energy.
I remember one of my favorite stories, and I've actually shared this to people at work, about your teacher that's the wrestling coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also wondering, has many spirits, ghosts, come to you to be their voice so that you can spread those words to someone that's close to you, or maybe a coworker, or someone that's in your life?
Oh yes, plenty of times. Plenty of times, more than just my wrestling coach. I just use that one every time, I kind of want to bring something like this up, because that to me, just that one sits in my heart, because shout out to Mr. Conley. He, me and him were really close after that. He was my 10th grade history teacher. So like 11th and senior year, every time he would see me in the hallways or something like that, he'd stop me, say what's up, and ask me like, hey, does my grandma have any messages for me? That kind of thing. A lot of these other people that I've given random messages to or whatever, it's just like a one-off thing where I see them in a store, at a baseball game, something like that. And it's just a, hey, blah, blah, blah says blah, blah, blah type thing. You know what I mean? And they either believe me or they don't, or they're dumbfounded and don't know what to say back. And I'm on my way, they're on their way type of thing.
Okay. I know this is really not hyping the question up much, but this is probably my least favorite question on this list. So let's go ahead and get this out of the way, and then we can finish with some what I feel like is much, much better questions. Is there a well-known ghost story? Maybe it's something that's local. Maybe it's something that is in a movie that you believe is actually just a hoax.
Ooh. That I believe is a hoax.
I know a lot of people kind of fight the Amityville horror as being a hoax.
Yeah,
because there's really not been much.
Yeah. There is a local to my area, New York. I have questions about some of the things that they put out there, or some of the spirits that they've named. I have questions. I don't want to out the place because I don't know if they listen to the podcast, and I don't want to deal with drama. And lately, there has been a lot of drama between some of the haunted location owners in my part of New York. A lot of drama going on Facebook and stuff. People calling each other out, all this other kind of jazz, right? There is one spot, though, near me that me, and it's not just me, a lot of other people question some of the things they say happen at this place. And that probably contributes right there to why some of their overnight bookings have not been going so well for them. So we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, wink, wink, nod, nod, right?
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Bigger name, though, I mean, maybe Amityville. I still have... I want to believe... I want to believe all this stuff is real, right? And some of what the stories that people say are real. But it's hard to say, yes, that happened, or no, that didn't, unless there's video proof, like 100% proving it. or you've been to that location yourself and you've experienced it. Which is why a lot
Right.
of ghost investigators like to travel and go to these other places. You know, they want to try to experience it themselves.
If you investigated, you can invest in any cemetery in the world, which one would you choose?
Ooh. That would be a toss up between Arlington National Cemetery, just because of the mass amount of soldiers and stuff passed away there, or that are buried there. That place has to be a hotbed of spiritual
Right.
energy. That, or not really a cemetery per se, but a battlefield. Bringing up Gettysburg again. I have always wanted to go to Gettysburg and experience going out on that battlefield where so many people passed away, and try to catch something on film there.
Well, it kind of is a cemetery. I mean, that so much violence there.
Right.
There's still some that's left behind. Has to be.
So it would probably be a toss up between those two.
I was going to ask this because I was wondering if you'd bring up this location, and that's the catacombs.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Like, I just being underground. It's almost like this. I guess if I'm imagining myself there, I'm underground. I'm trapped. I'm surrounded by walls of human
caskets
bone.
and bones.
I'll be
to
honest.
me,
It don't get much creepier than that.
I'll be honest with you. Catacombs, or like you can go to a cemetery. Normally they have like the big vault type things, like randomly in the middle of the cemetery, where like a whole family might be buried in there, and you can peek in and you kind of see walls going up on the sides where with just nameplates, and that the people's caskets are inside those. I'll be honest, there isn't much that really scares the crap out of me as far as spirits and being in certain areas. That is one. Catacombs scare the crap out of me. And it might have something to do with the Eddie Murphy movie Haunted Mansion. I don't know if you ever watched it before, but when I was growing up, that movie came out, I believe, like 2005, 2006, something maybe. I might be wrong there, but it came out when I was a little kid. And in that movie, there's a little section in it where they go into a catacombs and all the bones crawl out of the caskets and stuff like that and come up from the water that's down there, and that creeped me out. And ever since then, I've been scared to death of catacombs and those kind of things. So yeah, there's not much that scares me, but that is one.
Well, I've actually been to a couple of cemeteries down south in Louisiana whenever me and my wife went on vacation. And there was one in New Orleans. I can't remember. I know it's a famous cemetery, but I can't remember which one it was. But we visited that one, and it was so strange seeing all the above ground tombs
Yes.
and vaults and things, because it's not something you see much where I'm from. I mean, obviously they have to because of the environment,
The flooding and stuff. Yes, I was just going to
exactly.
bring this up. There are videos out there on YouTube if you listeners want to go look it up. After Katrina hit the New Orleans area, with the way that they have some people buried, and the above ground tombs are basically literally just concrete boxes. Instead of going into the ground, they are above ground, and the casket is just sitting on a concrete slab encased in concrete. After Katrina, there was a lot of tombs and stuff like that ripped apart, obviously because of all the flooding, and caskets everywhere, bones scattered all over the place. There are videos of this out on YouTube if you want to look it up. It's pretty creepy. I actually just watched one a couple months ago of somebody going to one of these places, and there is he peeked into one of the cracked open above ground tombs, and you can see the casket has deteriorated, and there was there were human remains inside there that he could see visibly with his camera. It's pretty creepy.
And it's sad too because this could obviously disturb the peace of spirits that's been there for centuries.
Right. And you would think that family might care a little more, depending, if there is family still alive and stuff, right? They might get on the cemetery, the people that run the cemetery, about that kind of stuff, being like, hey, can we fix this? Can we encase this in concrete again? What are our next moves here? I don't want my loved one's remains just kind of being exposed out in the open.
Another cemetery that I went to, and I'll tell you what, this one really creeped me out. But now, to be fair, it doesn't take much because I love horror movies and stuff, but like, I've never had an encounter before. Right. I've never had any kind of, and I'm not saying that it's not real, obviously. It just hasn't happened to me. And maybe that's why my intrigue and my interest is, so piqued, and why I wanted to do this interview. But on another separate vacation, I went to Savannah, Georgia, and there was a cemetery called St. Bonaventure Cemetery. And you actually have to drive out a little ways and into the more rural area. And I don't know, it just had this aura, this feel about it, that just, it felt different. I've been to see loved ones that's passed in local cemeteries and not feel that way, but at that one, it just felt different.
So you just got an aura about being in, you know what I mean? Like, you just felt.
Yeah, and it could be the atmosphere. It could be the atmosphere. Well, for one thing, it was fixing to get locked up, and we were trying to get our way out of it because we was looking around, and we noticed, oh gosh, it's almost dark, and we need to get out of here before they lock it up. We, rather not stay there the whole night. So that might have been part of it too.
Yeah, a lot of people get weirded out driving past cemeteries too, just knowing what lays inside of the gates.
Yeah. Well, if you ever find yourself in that area, please, look into it and just tell me your thoughts sometime. Okay. Here's another one that, you've mentioned someone a few times, and it may be this person, but I just want to know, which celebrity or well-known paranormal investigator do you respect the most?
Nick Groff and his wife, Tessa.
That's who I thought you would say.
Nick Groff and
That's
his
who
wife,
I thought
Tessa.
You would say.
Me and Jesse both have been to a couple of the events they've put on locally up here in the Buffalo area. And just kind of getting a chance to hear them speak to smaller crowds or talk to them one-on-one. I've grown to respect them quite a bit. And Nick Groff's series Deathwalker, to me at least, feels about as raw and as real as it gets. So by that I mean like less theatrics, right? It's more raw, it's more real. It's which I would assume is why it's not really on like a national television type deal, because it doesn't have all those extra theatrics to kind of add a little more scare into you. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, the more the manufactured stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, here is one more like oddball question, because recently, and usually when I'm driving, I just let it keep playing and it keeps like just going down the playlist, and I come across a couple of your all's UFO extraterrestrial episodes.
Oh, okay.
So this is based on that. Do you believe there is a real Men in Black type agency that exists to suppress the existence of extraterrestrials?
Yes, I do, in fact, and I know Jesse would 100% agree with me here, believe that there are a real agency out there called the Men in Black, or not called the Men in Black, whatever they actually go by, that are out there to try to calm down the public when an occurrence happens, try to talk down what somebody says that they might have seen. You know what I mean? Those kind of things.
Kind of influence what they say.
Yes. But however, in the recent years here, actually, a lot has come out with the government, admitting certain things about UFOs and aliens, and like fighter jet pilots coming out and saying, hey, we were doing a test flight over Arizona, and the spaceship popped up and was going faster than we were, and all that kind of stuff. A lot of those stories have come to light recently, and with the government and everything kind of admitting to stuff being out there, I think you'll start to hear more and more less from the Men in Black, as we call them, as the government kind of releases more information on all this stuff.
Yeah, I always get kind of tickled, it's a Southern saying, tickled whenever I think about the Men in Black, because it's Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones, made the trilogy of movies and stuff, and obviously that I don't believe that is how things work.
If I could ever meet a Frank, I want to meet a Frank in real life. I want to hear a real life talking pug alien happening.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was absolutely the cutest, most adorable alien I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
All right, now let's get into some real serious stuff. These are my most anticipated ones, okay?
Okay.
What is your thoughts about Exorcism?
The movie, or exorcism as in like just exorcisms in general?
In general, not the movies. Just in general, like the practice, that type of thing.
I don't know for sure if I have said this on previous episodes that we have released. There's a very high chance I have. Before 2020, I want to say like 2018, 2019 or so, my best friend I grew up with in high school, Andrew, came over to my mom's for a weekend, and I wholeheartedly believe he was possessed by one of my passed on stepdads. He was out of nowhere 70 times stronger than he ever has been in his life. He was saying things to my mom that I didn't even know about, because I was so young when before Adam committed suicide. So as far as like possessions and stuff go, I believe in that kind of stuff. Exorcisms, I wouldn't say he was exorcised, but we had to like hold him down. Like there were like 5 of us holding him down, and had to wait until it was kind of over. I know that really doesn't answer much of your question there, but that was like my only experience I've ever had with something kind of close to an exorcism, more of a possession type thing. Exorcisms, though, what do you want me to answer? Like, do I believe in exorcisms like working type thing?
Well, what the story you shared was the majority of the purpose behind the question was possession, taking over someone, that type of thing. The only thing else I would like to know is, do you feel like sometimes they are necessary?
100%. They definitely have a time and a place. However, the problem I think about when I think of exorcisms is not every time. Yes, it might get the malevolent spirit out of the host body that the spirit decided to enter, but not all the time does it permanently get rid of that spirit. A lot of times, in my eyes at least, I think about that spirit leaving that host body that it chose and going out and searching for a new one, a new
Right.
and a new body to take over type thing. The other thing that I believe is it's a lot tougher to be possessed and like get up to the parts where you would need an exorcism if you are a stronger minded person. A lot of the times, like with my friend Andrew, he had some troubled history, and you know, he just mentally was in a weaker spot in that time in his life. It's easier for spirits to take over part of your life when you are in that mental state.
More vulnerable, more susceptible.
Yes, exactly. You're more susceptible to be, I guess, possessed. You know, I mean, it's not like, hey, you know, if you're in a bad state of mind right now, you're getting possessed tomorrow type thing. You know, the right factors need to kind of to align, I guess, and you need to be in an area where that kind of thing is possible to happen.
And it's probably not like the movie Fallen. Have you ever seen the movie Fallen with Denzel?
I don't think so. Not that I can remember off the top of my head.
Well, basically, there's this entity that just comes and goes as they please, and just bouncing around from one person to the next, and just without rhyme or reason. You know,
Okay.
like from me to you to the guy sitting next to you in the coffee shop, the guy that you see in the drive-through at McDonald's, and just without, you know,
Yeah, that
without
seems
reason.
more of
That's
a
sort of the way the movie went.
yeah, that seems more of like a Hollywood type explanation of exorcism or of possessions and stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that just seems more of like a hey, let's play it up for theatrics. This is Hollywood. Come on.
Okay. All right. So this one you may have already answered, but I would like to, I guess maybe more detailed. I'm not sure. It's what was the single most horrifying encounter at the Gowanda house?
Oh,
Because I know there's going to be a few that you have to think of based on some of the episodes that I've heard already.
I mean, it's more horrifying as in the feelings that I felt in that house and the things I saw. I've mentioned this before, seeing figures in my sister's old little pink box TV. You know, we'd be sitting in her room, going to sleep or something like that, right? And her TV would be off, but the hallway lights on type thing, or doors open, and you look up and you just see a shadow figure walk into frame, like a reflection on that TV. You turn around, there's nothing there. You look back, and there's that shadow figure standing there. That was pretty scary. And the way that it affected, like, all of the men that my mom was with in that house. I was pretty young to understand how it affected the older people in that house, right? Well, looking back at it now, the spirits that were inside that house did some, you know, mess with your mind a lot. But going back to like the feelings and stuff I felt in that house, I mean, I was scared shitless, we'll say that, of that house and the things that I would see and feel. There was one time too, I've said this before, walking back from my grandparents who lived 2 houses down, back over to my place, and you look up, and at the top of the stairwell was a window facing the direction we would be walking from my grandparents' house, and seeing a man stand there just staring at us, me and my sister walking back to that house, knowing that, okay, we see a figure standing right there, and we're about to open up the door, and as soon as you open the door, you can either take like the left-hand route that walks like back into the living room and stuff like that, or you can go straight up, which is straight up those stairs, and at the top of those stairs is where that figure was. That was pretty scary. And I believe I mentioned this before, and I'm gonna wrap myself out and make myself look stupid, but I was a little kid. I was like 7 years old. Okay, don't hate on me here. I used to be so scared to go downstairs. There was no bathroom upstairs. You know, I peed in the corner of the hallway when I was little. I was that scared of that house. I'll rat myself out. I don't care. Y'all can come after me if you want. Being a 7-year-old and knowing the things that happened in that house and stuff like that and what I've seen, that's how scared I was. I wouldn't even go downstairs in the middle of the night by myself. So
I remember hearing that on your on one of the episodes, and I remember driving to work and thinking, oh, I would have done the same thing.
yeah, I was just a little kid, man.
I'll take a whooping over having to deal with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm
not
gonna find the most well lit corner possible, and that's where I'm going.
not to kind of give the Gwanda house some praise. You know, not everything that happened in that house was bad. Let's see, because we lived in that house 2 or 3 different times because my grandfather owned it. I believe it was the second time we lived in that house. It was just after my great grandmother passed away. We did a flashlight trick session, which is basically where you take like a press light where you have to press the back down to get it to turn on and off. And you'd unscrew the back until it's barely touching, barely on or barely off. And you'd set it down on a flat surface, and you would ask the spirits to use their energy to turn it on or to turn it off, right? So basically you ask yes or no questions. We were doing that flashlight trick, and my great-grandmother came on. You know, we were like, hey, is this my great-grandma? You know, the flashlight would turn on for yes. Be like, okay, if this really is you, turn it off. It turned off. And then we asked her to make a noise, she did, and she would start knocking in the beat of the song that she used to sing to me and my sister and my cousin. So that was probably one of the best things that happened in that house. So, like I said, not everything that happened in there was terrible, but there was a lot that happened that was bad.
Was there a room there that you just, like, if at all costs you would try to avoid in the Gwanda house?
Oh yeah, I'm getting chills down my back right now. There are 2 of them. So if you were to walk up the landing, up the stairs, hit the landing, right, you would turn immediately left. On the left-hand side down the hallway, there were 2 bedrooms, and on the right-hand side, there was 1. The first one on the left was my sister's, the last one on the left was mine, and in the middle on the right was the doorway that goes into the master bedroom. That was my mom's room. I would not go in my mom's room for nothing. You couldn't ask me. You couldn't beg me. You couldn't pull me in there. Very scary place. And the other one was downstairs. If you were to go through the main door into the house, immediately to the left is a living room. And then right in the middle of the house is like a big dining room type thing. And off to the left-hand side of the big dining room was another like spare bedroom type deal. And that one I would not go in to save my life. Second or third on there, just honorable mention type thing, all the way in the back of the house was it turned into like an old concrete patio type thing that would lead down into the basement. That was scarier than all get out. And fourth would be my sister's room after we started seeing the shadows through the TV.
I don't know, just the more I hear you talk about the Gwanda house, the more like just intrigued I am by it. It just seems like a very powerful place.
I don't drive by it anymore if I go to Gwanda. We'll say that.
Well, that's saying a lot.
It is.
Okay,
it gives me very creepy vibes.
I have one last question. And again, thank you for letting me do this. I really appreciate it.
No problem at all.
You've done well. You've answered everything very well. So, and I'm just so glad I didn't slip up and, you know, all that good stuff. But to finish off the interview, have you ever encountered a demonic entity?
I believe wholeheartedly there were demonic spirits in the Gwanda house. There was one other time that And looking back on it, the way I felt when I saw it was, it's not good, right? The feeling I got as soon as I saw it. And I believe I've talked about this on the show as well. In my father's house, I came out of my bedroom, and the way it's set up is I would come out of my bedroom, and straight down is a little platform, and then straight down the stairs another little platform, and then it would turn down to the left to get down to the lower level of the house. And I walked straight towards the steps, and I might have taken a step or two down, and bam, there was a figure wearing a red shirt, blurry face, black pants, right at the stoop there, I guess is what you would call it, right? The middle platform of the stairs where it turns to go down to left to the bottom. And the way I felt as soon as I saw that spirit, it was not good. I don't know if it was demonic not good, or if it was just, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard to explain it looking back at it, just the way I felt.
Maybe like a very angry,
yeah,
human spirit.
Yeah, that mixed with the startling realization of what the heck is in front of me. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because I believe I've said this too. As soon as I saw that, I ran right back into my room, shut my door, and screamed as loud as I could for my sister to come up and get me. Because I was not coming back out of my room without somebody going down those stairs with me. Other than that,
did you ever see it again?
No, never saw that spirit again. However, there's a couple other things that happened to my dad's house. One would be shutting my bedroom door with like the hallway light on outside in the hallway, and seeing shadows go back and forth underneath like the door, but not hearing any footsteps, knowing that my dad and stepmom are downstairs, knowing that everybody else that's upstairs is in their bedrooms, not doing anything. And it's an older house. Like, if somebody's walking in the hallway, you hear them in the hallway.
Yeah, it's gonna creak. Yeah.
Yeah, that, and there was one other time, I can't remember if I've said this on the show or not. I was in my bedroom, and it was late, and I heard my stepmom's voice call me and say, come downstairs, get ready or something like that. But I remember hearing my name and come down here, come here. I got up, walked down, went into the kitchen where they said to go, and there was nobody there. And it was late at night, pitch black outside, everybody in their bedrooms sleeping. I know that really didn't answer the demonic thing.
No, that was great. I don't know, this just popped in my head. Just something that I personally find terrifying, and people probably don't think I'm silly, but the movie Paranormal Activity.
Okay.
The first time I watched it, I was thinking, I don't know if I'd ever want to record myself sleeping, because I think I would rather just not know if something is
standing
there.
at your bed.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't know if I'd be able to sleep there again. And
Right.
I know most people watch that movie to get, a different kind of scare, but I just saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, I could never watch myself sleep, because if I saw anything, oh God.
Oh yeah. If you end up sleeping or something like that, right? Watch the video in the morning and see a shadow walk right by your side of the bed, and turn your alarm clock or something like that. Turn your phone. That'd creep me out, knowing that happened while I was in the middle of sleeping. I was peacefully asleep dreaming, and this happened while I was asleep right there. Not anymore.
Yeah, I'd be like, I was sleeping about, or dreaming about sunshines and rainbows, and here this thing is staring at me, and it could just do whatever it wants, and I couldn't do a dang thing.
Oh yeah, that would creep me out too.
Yeah. Yeah, that just, I don't know, that movie, that's the only part of that movie that gets to me. It's just like the idea of that.
Well, is there anything else you would like to add? Anything that you might have thought of during the interview?
I think that's everything. Obviously, if I come up with some more, I can definitely send them to your all's email, and I can get some answers that way.
Absolutely. Well, we are about at the hour mark of this interview. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed the interview, please consider subscribing on whatever podcast platform you are listening on. And if you have any questions or your own haunted story you would like emailed and read on the story, or read, oh boy, see, here we go. I'm messing it up. We're an hour in and I'm messing up my words. If you have a haunted story you would like read out loud on the podcast, or a question that you would like answered from me on the podcast, you can go ahead and email us those items there at hauntedamericapodcast@gmail.com. hauntedamericapodcast@gmail.com. Well, JD, I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you hopping on here and asking me all these questions and giving the people that listen something to think about, maybe.
Yeah, I hope it inspires more people to reach out and get answers. I would love to hear what people who have actually had encounters. I would love to have a Q&A session from them and hear your thoughts on questions that are unique to them.
Absolutely, and that's what season 3 is going to try to be all about. Stories and questions from you, the listeners. And I have 3 or 4, maybe 5 stories that have been emailed into us that are locked and loaded and ready to be recorded and put out in future episodes of season 3. With that all being said, JD, thank you once again. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been an interview with Haunted America.